To pre-shrink or not pre-shrink? That is the question. You may be wondering if you have to wash the fabric before sewing, or how to pre-wash fabric, and if it's really important. Or you might ask, why pre-shrink fabric before cutting? What is pre-shrinking? Pre-shrinking is an important step in preparing fabric for cutting, either by washing or steaming, to shrink the fibers. Let's consider the benefits and disadvantages of pre-shrinking. First, pre-shrinking stops future shrinkage. If you don't shrink your fabric before cutting it, guess what? The very first time you wash your garment, it's going to shrink. You'll have wasted countless hours in drafting, cutting in, only to end up with a garment that doesn't fit quite right. And remember, when it comes to having a garment that looks professionally made, it's all about the fit. Second, pre-shrinking fabric gets rid of chemicals and dyes before you wear your clothes. And you'll have less chance of bleeding colors with other clothes in the wash. Let's look at the disadvantages of pre-washing. First, it takes time. If you choose to pre-wash, it means washing, drying, and ironing the fabric. So you may want to forgo it. But make that choice once you check the care instructions and consider how you would normally launder this garment. If the fabric is known to shrink a lot in the wash, and you tend to just throw your garments in the washer and dryer, then choosing not to pre-wash might lead to problems. But if you're absolutely sure your fabric won't shrink considerably, you might prefer to skip pre-washing. What fabrics tend to shrink more than others? Well, here's some. Cotton, like this one, or linen, and wool. And other fabrics which tend to bleed in the wash also benefit from pre-shrinking, like synthetics like these two, polyester and acrylic. These days, some people ask, should I wash fabric before making masks? And should I use detergent when I pre-wash? Well, my personal opinion is that yes, of course you should wash fabric before making masks, because if you do, the mask will fit, and because many of the dyes and chemicals in fabrics can irritate certain people who are sensitive to them. Should you use a detergent for a pre-wash? Well, technically you don't have to, but I do like to use a delicate fabric detergent, like maybe something like this one, to just make sure I get rid of those extra chemicals and dyes. How do you wash fabric before sewing? To help you stay ahead of the curve, here are my top 10 tips for reducing time, fading, fraying, and pre-shrinking mistakes. Number 1, wash the fabric just like you typically wash the garment once it's made. So if you know you tend to use a washer and dryer and the care instructions say you can, then by all means do so. Number 2, how do you wash fabric for sewing when you can't wash it? One answer is steam instead of washing, or dry clean it. Check the care instructions first and then decide if this method suits you. And do this on every part of your fabric. To steam, use a good iron like this one and a good ironing board, and hold the iron above the fabric long enough to shrink all the fibers. Do this for every part of your fabric that you steam. Steaming can save you time, the money you spend on water, reduce distortion of grain lines, and the frayed edges that come with pre-washing. And it's great for delicate fabrics like silk. Plus, it's sustainable because you use less water, and that's great for the environment, right? Number 3, pre-shrink delicately to avoid fading and fraying. Yes, launder as you know you normally would, but keep in mind that the rougher the wash cycle and the longer it's in the dryer, the more it will fade and fray. Number 4, Treat sensitive fabrics delicately by washing by hand and line drying. You put so much care into sewing, pattern alteration, muslins, and fitting, so why not try to keep your beautiful creations lasting longer? Plus, washing in a sink means less water, and that means it's more environmentally sustainable than washing in a machine. And ultimately, even though it takes a little more time, it's also good for the planet. Number 5, line dry and iron the fabric at least one day ahead in autumn or winter. Line drying takes longer. However, if you want it to be slightly down, then this is a great way to speed up ironing, because when your fabric is down and you use an iron, it really speeds up the whole process.
Number 6. Finish the edges of the fabric to prevent or reduce fraying. Or use pinking shears. You'll save money on fabric.
Number 7. Pre-shrink the fusible interfacing by placing the interfacing wrong side up onto your fabric. Of course, you'll do this with an ironing board and an iron. You hold the iron overhead to steam the interfacing until it shrinks. Then steam ironing it directly onto the fabric. So to do that, you flip it over and then steam ironing it onto the fabric. And this will avoid air bubbles, which cause puckers when you wash the fabric. Number 8. Use a color catcher sheet in the laundry when you pre-wash, like this one. This will collect all the extra color bleeding, so you'll have less of that when you wash the garment the first time. Number 9. Ironing your fabric with a flat steam iron, or if necessary, using the steam method, which I just talked about. It's essential before pattern layout. Your pattern pieces must lie flat for accuracy, and you can save on fabric too. And use a press cloth with sensitive fabrics if you need to. Number 10, do a pre-shrinking test to decide whether or not to wash. Keep watching till the end of this video, and I'll share some links for you on how to do this. I've done an entire YouTube video just on doing a pre-shrinking demonstration. Personally, I prefer to pre-wash my fabric. Try both methods and find out what suits you best. And I would love to hear your personal stories on pre-washing and pre-shrinking fabric in the comments below, or any other helpful tips you'd like to share. Let us know which you prefer. Do you prefer to pre-wash or not pre-wash before sewing? Maybe you'd like to check out my video demonstration where I show you how to do a pre-shrinkage test in a little more detail with some very helpful tips. You'll see how easy it really is.